What's up, weirdlings? Let's chat. This has been a tough week for me. I will say that this has been a tough week for me. So I came to a horrible realization earlier this week that I missed a line in an email which pretty much killed an opportunity for me to have a collaboration with one of the biggest YouTubers in the world right now. Millions of subscribers. But yeah, that opportunity's gone, and I've been kicking myself ever since. Because it was a stupid mistake. It just got lost in the shuffle of all the things that I do, and it is just a stupid mistake. But it brings up a concept that I've really been looking a lot at lately, and it's really sitting down and looking at all the things that I do wrong on the channel. Let me explain, because I don't want that to sound like really bad or anything. I mean, it's not great. Don't do wrong things on the channel. At the beginning of the year, when I made the commitment to do this and really focus on it, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that. I've put out the videos every Thursday and Friday. We've got the live streaming working. We've got the D&D campaign going on. There's a lot of stuff that I'm doing, and there's a lot of stuff that I think works well. At the same time, I realize just how tenuous my ability to do this is. And let me explain. Yeah, right now, I do have the ability to do this, but I'm not making money at it. I make enough to cover most of the expenses and maybe a little bit at the end of the day, but that's all. If something changes in our life, I would potentially have to stop doing this at the drop of a hat. It just could happen. So recognizing how tenuous it is for me to be here, I always look at what I can do to help facilitate success. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. Keeping that in mind, I spend a lot of time reading articles, studying the space, and just trying to figure out how to really be better at what I do. I still have a lot to learn. Everything I've done here is self-taught. I never went to school for this. This is just me figuring stuff out as I go, hoping that it works. In one of the Facebook groups I'm a member of that's focused on videos and YouTube creators, someone who went to VidCon posted some of their notes from the panels and the things that they learned, and there was one thing that stood out to me. In big letters in the notes, he said, "Variety channels are dead. Find your niche and focus on it. Double down on it, triple down on it, quadruple down on it. Find what worked and then do more of that." And I'm not anywhere close to doing that. Like, that is actively something that I am not doing on purpose. That's by design. There's this part of me that despises being pigeonholed or being seen as one-dimensional. There are a lot of things that I'm interested in. There's a lot of things that everybody's interested in. Just because I play Dungeons and Dragons doesn't mean that I don't understand politics or science or books or TV or film. These are all things that are a part of who I am, and it drives me nuts when people can't see outside of that one thing. So I make my channel based on the things that I personally love, the things that I find interesting. Anything that has ever been on this channel has been something that I have found interesting or have enjoyed. Everything. And yet, if you talk to the people who are in the space and the pundits at VidCon, they're pretty much telling me that it's not gonna work. And that really sucks, because that's not why I did this. I didn't get into this to be a one-dimensional creator that just puts one thing out there. I came in this ultimately to tell stories and to reach out to people and to share these stories and find emotional connections, and that's important to me. That's more important to me than finding a niche and just making that. And that's when I found Shane Dawson. What the, huh? For the record, I don't know Shane, but I've never actually been a fan of Shane's. I don't have a problem with Shane, it's just his videos were never anything that I really liked. I didn't enjoy them, so I never really got into the Shane Dawson phenomenon. But the reality is, guy's got longevity. He's still around. He's still making videos, and he's still getting millions of views per. He's been doing this for years. He knows what he's doing. He's figured it out. So I found out that Shane Dawson did a collaboration recently with Graveyard Girl. For those of you who don't know Graveyard Girl, she's probably an OG YouTuber. I thought she was great. She was a person when people used to come up to me and ask me about whether they should do it, she's one of the channels I would point them to for inspiration to look at as someone who had a unique voice, cool personality, someone to convince you that, yeah, you can do this kind of thing. But apparently she feels like her channel is dying. And she wanted to collaborate with Shane Dawson to figure out why and try to fix it. Let's be clear about one thing here. When you talk about Graveyard Girl's channel, quote unquote, dying, we're talking about someone who has almost 9 million subscribers on her YouTube channel. This is a big channel. And for her, dying really feels more like a lack of creativity, a lack of motivation, just this overwhelming burden of creating. Because believe it or not, y'all, making YouTube videos at that scale is hard work. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. It is not easy to do. Anyway, whatever, going back to that, Shane Dawson went in to talk to Graveyard Girl about her channel. And it was really, really interesting to see these two old school YouTubers get together and talk about what it's like on YouTube and how it feels. And as someone who's been around for a long time, there's some stuff that really speaks to you. Maybe not to you, but it really speaks to me. It speaks to me as a creator, and I'm sure it speaks to a lot of other people as well.
I can't have fun because I feel like the whole world is watching me fail.
I mean, she's not wrong. If you have any interest in what it is to be a video creator, you should really watch this video. I'll put a link down in the doobly-doo, and there'll probably be a card or something floating around you can click on. But you should totally check it out. The first 15 minutes or so are really old school Shane Dawson, so I'm like, all right, Shane Dawson video, I get it. But once they sit down and start the interview process, it's really interesting to hear these people talk about being in this space, and hearing Shane Dawson be a mentor was surprising to me. At the same time, he really had some really interesting and insightful comments. There's one that stood out to me, and it was talking about how audiences on YouTube have changed. And you hear that a lot. YouTubers who started 10 years ago, their audience has grown up, there's new people coming in. It's a different world, and you really need to find a way to adapt, which is kind of what I'm doing. Shane had a comment to her that really stood out to me, and he said that you need to capture new audiences that will love all sides of you. And that felt right to me. It may be easy to say that because it aligns with my perspective. It's a lot easier to go in with something that fits what I think it is to completely change and become a different person. At the same time, these are people who have been in the space for a long time, and they have some experience with things. Shane Dawson may be a problematic figure in some regards, but I don't think he's wrong in this. Honestly, Shane Dawson is not the first OG YouTuber I've heard give that advice. Sometimes that advice has been given directly to me by more than one person, or similar versions of it, right along those lines. You know, will that work for a tiny tuber with 15,000 subs as opposed to 9 million subs? I sincerely don't know. The odds are against it. At the same time, I sincerely feel like if I give up everything that I've wanted to accomplish to serve the greater needs of a computer algorithm, I feel like I'm giving up part of myself, and that's not why I do this. This is like turning into like deeper than I thought it was going to be. I don't know how I feel about that. How do I feel about that? Honestly, right now, normally, I would stop recording, write down what I wanted to say, and figure it out, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of let this sit. You know, I was having a Twitter conversation with Roving Naturalist the other day, and she mentioned, basically said, screw them, there's not one right way to do this and be successful, and I agree, there's absolutely not. So I'm not doing what the pundits say. I'm doing what the YouTubers say. I would have people ask me for advice a lot back in the day, and one of the things they would always say to me when they were trying to figure out if they wanted to get on YouTube was they would say, I don't know what I would make. The more I drill down with these people, the more I realize it's less about them not knowing what they want to make and more about them not believing people would be interested in what they made. I would tell them then, and I believe it now, that you're not alone in the world. The things you love, other people love as well. And if you put it out there, you can find each other. It's like a one big Bumble app or something. So I'm not going to find a niche. I'm going to be me. And you're going to see all sides of me. And I hope people like at least a couple sides of them. But I'm still going to do it because that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm vlogging. So that you will get to see sides of me you don't normally see. And this is definitely one I don't think I've put on camera before. Honestly, it's harder to talk about than I thought it was going to be. How do you really talk about pursuing your dreams? Hell, y'all, I don't know. I don't know how to finish this. I don't know how to finish this video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. You still gotta do the thing, right?